welcome to NTI Online. My name's Dave Nicholson, and today I'm going to walk you through your new startup with a TFTN boiler. Now, we get a lot of questions on pump controls, so that's what we're going to concentrate on today. On the boiler, you have a boiler pump. This pump runs for heating or hot water calls, or really anything that activates the boiler. You've got a DHW pump. That pump out is only going to run when there's a domestic hot water call. There are two auxiliary pumps, and these have selectable functions, and that's what I'm going to show you next. To get to the pump functions, you're going to start by hitting Setup. Then you're going to go to Tech menu. If you're asked to log in, the password is NTI net. Type that in and press Enter. Now that we're on our Tech menu, we want to go to Pump Control Settings. And at the very bottom here, you have Auxiliary Pump Selection 1 and Auxiliary Pump 2 selection. Touch the blue box, and Auxiliary Pump 1 can be set as a system pump. Now, a system pump is a pump that would typically go downstream of the boiler in the heating system, and it's a pump that you want to run for any heating call. Now, you may choose to run this for a domestic call as well, and you can choose not to. So if you select system pump and you want it to turn off for domestic, you need to go into the menu to change the system pump operation. I'll show you that in a moment. Your domestic hot water recirculation, this is when you're doing an indirect water heater and you want to have recirculation to the fixtures in the building. And then you can also use it as a buffer tank pump. And a buffer tank pump works by looking at the buffer tank sensor. When the sensor drops to a set temperature, the pump will turn on, the boiler will reheat the buffer tank until the temperature in the tank is set and the buffer tank goes back off. Most commonly, people are going to use system pumps, so we'll leave it there, press OK. Auxiliary Pump 2 selection gives you the options of system pump, DHW recirc, and buffer. So there is a little redundancy. You could use either pump output for the system pump. You cannot use the system pump on both outputs at the same time because they'll both work at the same time. So you do want to set different functions on different pumps. If at any time you're confused and not sure what the pump selection will do, find these little blue I buttons and touch that, and it gives you a description of what each pump does and when it operates. Now that we know how to set the pumps, let's look at fine-tuning them. Now we're going to select Complete Menu. We're going to enter a specific parameter, and this takes a minute to load because the controller screen has to bring all the settings up into its memory. Now that that's complete, we're going to go to menu 24. So you keep tapping this till you get to 24. 24.4.6. And this lets you set the system pump activation logic. So if you have a system pump that is required to run for central heat and domestic, you want to come to this menu, touch this, and change it so it's always active. Always active doesn't mean running all the time. It means it's active for central heating and domestic. If we touch that again, we'll change it to CH only, and that means this pump will shut off during your domestic hot water call. Press OK to save your setting, and then you can hit the home button, and you've now set your pumps. You also have 3 zone pumps, zones 1, 2, and 3, which may also be zone valves. Each of these zones will turn on corresponding to thermostat 1, 2, or 3, and there's no real changes you can make there except for post-purge. But that's those 3 pumps, and then of course you've got the 4 pumps over here. Hopefully that makes setting up your pumps a little bit easier in future. As always, if you have any questions, call tech support at 1-800-688-2575.